Well, how's it going, buddy? Buddy. How's it going, everybody? Andrew here.
Ed Cotter.
Welcome to another...
I was just fascinated to see how you're going to work your way out of that.
Welcome to another episode of the LCR podcast.
Ooh. Lights, camera, reaction.
Episode. Man, this is only the second one back and we don't even remember what it was. Is it 81?
Was the last one 80?
About to look it up.
There we go.
We should know our shit, but apparently we don't. Hold on. I will tell you a moment. Yes, 81.
All right, 81.
This is the 81st podcast.
Yeah, baby.
And this is an off-the-cuff one.
Back on track.
Yeah,
this is more like... Yeah, this is what we've been watching recently.
This is something that has been around our lives pretty much for 6 months.
Yep.
Maybe a little under.
Yeah, what did I say?
Middle June.
Yeah, it was like pretty early June.
Oh, I thought it was middle. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah.
Still.
Like 11th or something like that.
So, little backstory. Connor doesn't watch TV.
No. Or like, growing up and I watched.
Didn't watch TV, and he's mostly a movie guy. When I met him, he was like, nah, Breaking Bad, I don't even know what that is.
I know what Breaking Bad is. I just didn't see it yet.
So when this bitch moved in, I was like, we're going to watch some TV because TV's great.
I got to catch up.
So we watched Breaking Bad. We watched Better Call Saul. Got him on the Sunny. I also got on the Sunny.
Yep.
And then we were kind of wondering what the next show we wanted to watch was. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for Twin Peaks.
It's time.
And for me... first off, this is all going to be about fucking Twin Peaks, okay?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be about...
Twin Peaks only.
Twin Peaks, seasons 1 and 2, Fire Walk with Me, and The Return.
And a little bit of the missing pieces, possibly.
And the missing pieces. None of those Mark Frost books, though. I didn't read those. I'm dyslexic. So.
We don't read too much.
So I guess before we even start talking even more, spoilers throughout.
Oh yeah, we're pretty much talking about the entirety of the show. So
the whole show is about Laura Palmer's murder and who killed her, and I'm about to say it, so you might want to end this right now.
The events that happened before, during, and after.
Yes,
everything involved.
If you don't give a fuck, then hang out with us and listen to a bunch of names that you won't understand.
Yeah, hopefully our excitement of this will get you to check it out.
Or, if you watched it and you're listening, hell yeah. And I hope that maybe our conversation makes you want to revisit it if you haven't in a while.
So, this was your second watch of the first 2 seasons.
What I was going to say is Twin Peaks was actually my introduction to David Lynch. I think I knew of David Lynch. I think I mostly knew Eraserhead. Mm-hmm. When I thought of David Lynch,
that's the first thing that popped up.
I think Eraserhead was
movie wise,
kind of like the poster, of Jack. But
Jack Nance, baby.
So I think that's what I knew about David Lynch, but I never seen anything.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, in 2017, when The Return was announced and everybody was fucking hyped, I was like, oh well. I guess I'll watch it. But I was like, there's 2 seasons already. What? Okay, well, I guess I'll watch those instead. So
interesting. So you heard about more of The Return at first, and then you're like, oh, this is a sequel pretty much to this other show.
Yeah, I didn't know that the show was already out.
Okay.
So when I looked up Twin Peaks, and I saw seasons 1 and 2 in 89 and 90, and I'm like, huh?
Hell yeah.
And so I was on Netflix. I watched it all. And then I just never watched The Return. And I'm kind of glad I didn't. But
yeah,
because I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them, and I got to talk to my mom because she actually watched them growing up. She watched them weekly, which was pretty cool to talk to her about that. And just how big, it was. And we'll get into that history later on. But so I watched that, and then nothing for years. And then... I didn't even watch David Lynch movies until last year.
It was quite the hiatus in between both the show
I watched
and the movies.
2 seasons of his television show in 2017, and then we watched Eraserhead and Blue Velvet on the same day, right? Wasn't it the same day? Or
No,
the same, like,
because I thought we had watched it the same day, and I don't think we did.
was it just like the same 2 days?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like that same
Still,
marathon, though.
we watched Eraserhead and Blue Velvet within like 48 hours of each
Yeah.
other. And then we watched Mulholland Drive a few, probably like a month or two
shortly
later.
after we moved into the new house.
Yeah, I'd probably say like maybe like 2 or 3 months after. And then that was it, right? Those are my only 3 movies I've seen, right?
I believe so. Yes,
Yes.
because that's the only 3 I've seen.
Yeah, and then
Well, then, yeah, and then now we got 4.
that's this fucking masterpiece, Fire Walk with Me. But then that leads us to June, and we said, you know what? Let's watch the pilot of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, baby. Well, what a
And
pilot.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. It premiered as its own thing right at Con that year or something like that.
The pilot did.
I believe so, right?
I don't know if the pilot did.
Maybe not. Well, it was released like as a film in a lot of places, or like maybe some like film festivals or something. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, the pilot was like that. That is a way to hook you into the show, because it can be pretty much seen as its own thing, but obviously like you'll want to know more, you know.
And I will just say that David has said that that's his favorite episode.
Yeah,
is the pilot.
first one? Okay. I mean, it's probably my second or third favorite episode in the series.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is very off the cuff. We're just gonna be talking about it. Bouncing around.
yeah, where to begin?
I kind of want to talk about like, I guess more of like the idea of the show, which is it's all based around the murder of Laura Palmer, who you at the opening scene is wrapped in plastic and duct tape on the shore.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy fuck, the homecoming queen or prom queen fucking is dead.
Yeah.
And everybody is traumatized.
Yeah, everyone is like linked to Laura one way or another.
Like one
or
of
it
the-
seems like.
I think it's Andy like breaks down and cries. And like you like it's because it's such a small town. And like if you know David Lynch, like he did this already in Blue Velvet. Like
Yeah, I mean, that's him. It's just like small. Like usually it's small America.
cute towns
Yeah.
that have a dark side to it.
Yeah, it's like usually
so-
50s inspired some way or another.
And so
50s, 60s, 70s.
from there, you pretty much establish everybody, all these people that are some way connected to Laura, whether it be the good Laura that, you know, like her parents perceive her,
Yeah, or just, anyone around town would perceive her as.
or so you want to fuck the homecoming queen Laura.
Which we really
fire
don't-
walk with me.
Which
come
we
on.
we slowly get small hints at throughout the first 2 seasons, but isn't fully realized until Fire Walk with Me.
Yes.
So, obviously, Laura was not as squeaky clean as everyone thought she was, you know, and the further you go on into the show, the more you're like, oh shit, she was involved with this and this and this, and like, oh geez.
And the thing with that is you never see Laura.
No.
She is dead from the moment the show starts, and you only see her in the red room. You see her, you know, her other self there. So you never knew her personality. You never knew. You only knew who she was based on, you know, Donna or James or her parents or Dr. Jacoby or all
Bobby,
these people that had a relationship with her. And so you built this person up, and then it kind of gets ripped apart in Fire Walk with Me, and you just show that she more was like she was just traumatized from the very beginning.
Yes,
but
like, so we won't get into like super specific spoilers, I guess.
nah,
But-
but dude, we're gonna get it.
Yeah,
How do we? How do we?
Well, that's the thing. How do we weave our way through the entirety of the show and the movies, or the movie
Without spoiling
the movie
it?
and the shows? No, but just like, what all should we touch on? You know?
dude, just everything, man.
Okay.
How are we not gonna talk about the killer, dude? That's the whole.
Are we blowing that load right here?
Fire Walk with Me doesn't work without. Okay, we won't blow. We'll tell you when I have enough, and I have to just say the person's name. Then I'll tell you
Yes.
spoilers. But I guess
Yeah, so I feel like
let's talk about season 1. Let's talk about what.
Yeah, start from the beginning, work our way through.
What were some of your like initial thoughts going in?
I mean, season 1, so that was like, wasn't it 7 episodes?
It's like 7 or 8. Yeah,
7 or 8. Yeah, so I mean, like season 1 is pretty phenomenal. Like first season of television for any show, which is why like so much probably hysteria was built up for the show at the time, and how much like people loved it, how popular it was, how much it was getting talked about, all that jazz. So, and for good reason. I mean, season 1 is that perfect blend of mystery, soap opera that at the time, you know, like American television was striving on, you know, kind of those similar shows.
But not in a continuation.
No.
Because I guess one thing that I didn't like realize how like revolutionary the show was, just because we weren't alive at the time.
Yeah.
And we've been how we see TV now. A lot of shows have it because of Twin Peaks, which kind of blows my mind. Like I never really got into like Criminal Minds or like Law and Order, because I never liked the formula of the episode wrapping up by the end of it. Because then I'm just like, like that's like I enjoy Black Mirror, but like I'm not like, I don't go out of my way to like watch them right when they drop.
You always have like your favorite episodes of those types of shows.
Because like they're just one-offs. You could just kind of pick up wherever.
Like, oh, this one was good. Oh, this one was dog shits. Yeah. Whereas like Twin Peaks, you're never going to get a really bad episode.
Or like Breaking Bad.
Or Breaking Bad, yeah. There actually isn't a bad episode in Breaking Bad.
No, there's not. Like that's kind of insane. But that's something else. But like, so like with Twin Peaks is that like the big thing, to the point where the fucking president at the time reached out to Mark and David, was like, who fucking killed Laura Palmer? It's just, it kind of blows your mind that like, even a movie, the murder is solved within the 2:15, you know? This is like, I feel like the first like really big thing that the world experienced where they didn't know the answer for like a year and a half. And they were like, who the fuck killed Laura?
Yeah.
And then fucking NBC had to fucking ruin it.
Yeah, that wasn't really the whole point of the show, was to like find out who did it. Like obviously we'd probably want to know who did it at the end of the day, but I guess it was the fact that they rushed to it so quickly because they were just tired of David and Mark just.
But also like shows back then, like it's crazy that like the standard was like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
That's definitely not the standard now. The standard's like maybe 10.
Yeah.
Depending on, it's more honestly like the showrunner. If like the showrunner like says like, no, I don't even want 10. Like, you don't want to stretch out the time. And well, I guess we'll talk about that in season 2. But like you said, season 1 is so confined. Every episode at least has like 50 to like 70% of it is like, like solid,
and it takes its time like within the world too, because
there's a lot of characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. So like, yeah, the show starts like, yes, like Laura's dead. She winds up off of the shore of what Catherine and their places.
Yes, Catherine. His name Henry.
Sure.
Is it Henry? Jack's name?
Maybe.
You know, I'm just gonna pull up the cast.
And then Harry's girl. I've always seen the show, Josie. Yeah, I've always seen the show obviously once, and we watched all of it pretty together. So when it comes to some characters being in the original show,
definitely off.
Pete. Okay. So Pete, Catherine, and Josie's place, and from there we get Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Well, not even there. You're introduced to like Harry and Andy and Hawk.
Yeah.
Like you're introduced to the sheriffs of Twin Peaks. Then you have Special Agent Dale Cooper, my boy right here.
Yes, sir.
I love him.
McLaughlin. You
have all the high schoolers. You have Bobby, who was kind of a boyfriend of Laura's. You'll find out that she was fucking everybody.
She was using a lot of people. You
have James.
James is the butt of many jokes of the first 2 seasons.
And then Donna. It was interesting to watch Connor's relationship with Donna. because I knew what she did. So I knew like the first two I knew everything was gonna happen.
Yeah, he had already seen everything.
So like with like Breaking Bad, it was fun to like see
my
Connor's reactions. And like
Yeah.
when he said like, "Oh yeah, I love Donna," I'm like, just wait. Like,
yeah, Donna sucks at the end.
Donna's pretty
to
awful.
the point where the actress herself, or the original actress, sucks so much that she didn't even want to be in the
movie
movie or show.
Then you have Audrey, who now like watching it a second time, she's just kind of in her own world. Mm-hmm. Like she
has a lot more to do in the first season.
Yeah, like I feel like in the second season, and that is the drama with behind the scenes, and maybe we'll get into that because there's just in a perfect world. I don't think there would ever be a perfect Twin Peaks because there's kind of a lot of shit that like happened, and it's kind of impressive that the show even got made.
Yeah,
based off just viewers demanding answers, people on set getting sick and tired and making rules and being like, I'm not working with that actor if they can't work with me.
Or to like the point fear of being typecast.
Yeah, or then the fucking one of the creators, David, just abandons it a third into the second season.
Yeah.
It's insane that this got made, and it's because of the fans.
Yes.
And
it had a massive cult following. Yeah. So like that stayed strong up until the point of the film, and then headed into the return. It's just one of those shows where it's like if you were there, it was awesome, but like it's always going to be a part of TV history. Yeah. So that's why it's stayed alive. But anyway, so going back to the first season, or I guess the first episode. So yeah, like
and then you have Shelley, who works at Norma's Diner.
Yep.
The R&R, and then you have Ed, who is Norma. They are high school sweethearts, but they're not together.
Mm-hmm. Because he's with Nadine.
Ed is with Nadine.
Yes. Nadine is wild.
Yes.
Throughout the entire show.
And she's just so much more interesting in the first season.
Yes.
The first season is just perfect.
Yes.
Because David left after like 4 episodes of the second season because his hands were tied and he had to reveal the killer, and he's like, fuck you, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
I'm going to go make a movie.
Fuck this bullshit.
So we have more characters. You have Shelley, then you have Leo, who is Shelley's
Leo Johnson
husband.
Leo's pretty terrifying. And
he's a great villain for the first season, and then he just is a vegetable.
He is a vegetable in the second season.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably it for the first season, because Gordon wasn't introduced until the second season. Oh, Albert was in the first season.
Albert was.
But you don't really like. I think like in the first season, like he doesn't really come off as like a character. Mm-hmm. You kind of feel like he's almost like a one-off. Like he's only there for like an episode or two.
Jackass.
But in season 2, he shows up a few more times, and then he's like fucking.
And then he's
almost like the main, like one of the main stars.
Part in the return.
Rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace.
I think that's about it. Right?
Yeah.
Because you have, fucking Ben Horn, dude.
Oh. Ben and Jerry. Right.
Dude, oh my God. And fucking Leland.
Yes.
Oh my God. Laura's dad.
Well, yeah. So, like, and then everybody's like families.
Yeah. And then you have Sarah.
Like
Laura's
Donna's
mom.
family. Yeah.
The doctor.
Laura's, cousin.
Did we ever.
Does she get introduced?
Agent. No, not Agent. Admiral Briggs.
Yeah, Bobby's
dude,
dad.
There's too many.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters.
No, I don't think we never met James's parents, right?
No,
who gives a fuck?
Because James sucks. James is not a good time.
Do you remember the bookmark?
Yes, there's an infamous bookmark. Was it on Etsy? Yeah.
One day we were just watching an episode during the dog shit episodes of season 2, and I was like, I'm gonna look at like fan made like Etsy like products of Twin Peaks, and like the first good like scroll, and then like dead center was his bookmark, and it was James's face, and then it was about 6 inches of straight forehead, and
just
then
all forehead,
and then the top of his black hair, and then it was just called James's big face like bookmark or something, and I died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, at least I'm like not the only one that
That
makes
was
fun
like
of James.
peak James hate for both of us.
That
It's
was
like,
his dumbass plot
Lord.
in season 2.
Yeah. So season 2 we'll get into with like all of its problems, but yeah, I mean you ran through pretty much most of the
Dr. Jacoby, I referenced him before, but he's also in there. But pretty much the show, like Dale is introduced within like the first like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He's in episode 1. He's in every episode, at least of the first 2 seasons. And he is there. He fucking falls in love with Twin Peaks because who the fuck wouldn't? And all the people there. And his cherry pie and his coffee.
This is the best.
Damn good coffee.
This is the best cup of coffee.
And he just is so passionate about law. And one thing that I feel like, I don't know if David had the idea, but like in the movie, Dale already has a connection with Laura. He already has these visions of Laura.
Yes.
And that she's going to get murdered.
But we only learned that, through Firewalk.
Through Firewalk with Me. So like, you know, I kind of want to watch, at least like the first like 16 episodes again, just because that's the Laura arc before the show goes to dog shit. And I want to like, especially that pilot, because I feel like Dale is more like naive almost.
Yeah, he's more like just fish out of water. Just like, you know, he's being introduced to all these people.
And like maybe that's just him keeping the secret that he's more connected to this than he wants to lead on to. But like in the movie, it makes it certain that like he has a connection with Laura.
Yeah, it's not really.
And they're on opposite parts of the United States.
Yeah, it's not really implied in the first.
At least from my knowledge.
At least from I mean,
we watched the show before the movie.
Yeah, because you only rewatched the first 2 seasons twice before seeing everything else.
Yeah. So I watched
you
it in
only have
2017,
the
and then I watched it a few months ago.
Like coming into, you know, your first watch of Firewalk with Me. So. Yeah, like, so you wouldn't have known, like, to look out for that, obviously.
And that's why, like, now I want to go back and just watch, like, the Laura Palmer act to, like, pick up on any cues of a lot of what Firewalk with Me introduces, so.
Yes.
But, yeah, so, like, the show, it pretty much, every episode just would leave off on a cliffhanger. And
you slowly learn about the case little by little as each episode goes on.
You know, somebody has a missing piece of a necklace.
On something, yeah.
You know, there is a recording of her in a fucking coconut in Jacoby's office. You're just like, why is that there, Dr. Jacoby?
The bird was a pretty big part.
The bird, yep. The canary or whatever.
Yeah, the canary.
In the lodge, which, dude, Firewalk with Me is just perfect. And yeah, you're introduced to the characters. And then One-Eyed Jack, he plays a huge part. It's pretty much like this brothel for like underage women.
Yes.
Or like on the cuffs, pretty much.
Yeah.
Run by Ben Horn, who also runs the is it the Great Wilderness?
The Lodge, the Great Lodge.
The Great Lodge, is that what it's called? The Great Lodge?
Is it called the Great Lodge? It's something the Lodge.
I thought it was like Great Wilderness. Anyways, Wilderness Lodge. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just this big hotel at Twin Peaks that everybody, that's where Dale's staying, but he also runs this fishy brothel poker table.
Yeah, Ben Horn is pretty gross for most of the series.
Well, and that's just where season 2 ruins his character.
Yeah,
because they just flip his character upside down. Anyways, and then Audrey has a fascination with Dale, and she wants to just. It's almost like it's pretty much like a fairy tale romance where she just wants to enter his world and just join him on this, like with him, like she loves him, and he's like, you're in high school. But
yes, and that's
the joke.
That relationship stems a lot from a lot of cast members.
Yeah, that's more season 2.
Displeasurement. Yeah.
Also, a big joke though is that they are all supposed to be in high school.
Yes.
And besides like the first 2 episodes,
is it really only the first 2 episodes?
Maybe like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But like after
it's definitely
those
like
first
only half
few,
of the first season. Yeah.
They don't go back to high school until like episode 16. But I looked it up on the wiki. The show takes place, seasons 1 and 2 only take place in like 2 months, I think.
Okay.
Remember I looked that up, like the timeline, and I think it was like February to like late March or something is when seasons 1 and 2 take place.
Okay.
So it might feel longer. And also for us, it kind of it took the ball rolling to get into the groove of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like we watch, because the one thing is that like it's the first TV show of its kind. So with a show like Breaking Bad, where like you almost are addicted to watching it.
Yes.
You know,
like you have to know what happens next. You kind of feel like that early on.
A little bit, but like you said, like eventually, like even though Laura's death was still a mystery, you know, by like episode 3 or 4 of season 2, you're like, okay, come on, let's keep it going. Mm-hmm. You can see them like getting there, but like, how long can you have a show based off the murder?
Yes.
And that's
where I wonder, like, if we didn't get the reveal halfway through season 2, how long would they have kept going?
How could you have gone almost 30 episodes without reveal? Like, that's a lot of like mystery.
That's a lot of trusting that your audience has the patience to do. So,
and like, I don't think really miniseries were like that big of a thing back then. Mm-hmm. And if they were, there were very few of them. And I don't know if like they even that crossed their mind, but I think that Twin Peaks, kind of like The Return, would have worked just as a nice 20 episode miniseries. Because I mean, Laura's case ends at like 12, right? So that's almost 20 episodes of just Laura's story
pretty
arc.
much. Yeah.
And so, I mean, season 1 ends with a lot of cliffhangers.
Mm-hmm.
People getting shot, you know. Leo's like the main villain in season 1.
Yes.
Pretty much the show is trying to make you believe that Leo in some way is behind the murder of...
There's a lot of red herrings in the show, which you need to keep it going.
Oh, dude, the one-arm man. We didn't even talk about him. He's one of the characters.
The one-arm man, yeah.
Yeah, he's a character. He's huge. For more of like, oh my God, Bob. We haven't even mentioned Bob.
Well, I mean, we were just stuck on like the first episode, so we don't really...
But I'm pretty sure Bob's in the first episode.
But we don't like know him as Bob until like a couple episodes later, right?
Gosh, still though, like...
All right, but still, I guess so.
The shot of him hiding behind the like golden, you know, metal rods of a bed frame is terrifying.
Oh, he's terrifying like any time he
this
shows
man
up
dressed in denim with long gray hair
and like this snarling face, like he's like gonna eat you or something.
I want to taste your tongue. Oh, dude, he's terrifying. I love him.
Dude, Bob. Hey, just
Frank Sylvia, I think his name is.
Okay,
rest in peace.
Hey, just an ordinary guy on set. He looked a little,
I think he was
a little
just,
menacing.
He was just some crew member, and I think I kind of wanted to read it again, but I honestly think they didn't cast Bob yet, and I think that shot of him there's behind the scenes where pretty much Frank was positioned in a way, and they accidentally caught that on camera, and like David was like blown away. Okay, and he's like, "You're my Bob.
This is what I need."
It's in the trivia for sure. I'm pretty sure, like how that became. Yeah, and that's just like so fucking awesome. That like
that is pretty tight.
Just like a director, like just like you're Bob.
It's like holy shit,
like, you are it.
I don't even need to look anymore. You're right here,
dude. Yeah, he's
just gave him some direction. You know, that David Lynch direction.
Also, what's awesome is that he's never credited in any episode, so you never know when Bob's gonna show up because he's not in the main titles. Yeah, like, and that's like what the show gives away a lot is that it reveals every cast member in every episode. Yeah. So like who's
like even when David Lynch first came up, I'm like, oh, here we go. Let's go.
It was kind of disappointing because like I don't think you knew he was going to be an actor in the show. Did you know that going in? No. So like I knew when the episode was coming up, and I was hoping you were gonna like look at your phone, but then you saw his name, and I'm like, damn it.
But yeah, so
because he talks like this and he's really loud.
Gordon.
Special Agent Dale Cooper. Gordon, I can hear you.
I can hear you perfect. Please lower your voice.
So yeah, season 1, it's a really solid 8 episodes, 7 episodes, whatever it is. A lot of drama. Also, the score is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that intro. The intro.
That is
how the whole series kicks off.
You flick off that skip intro. You're like, nah, bitch, I'm gonna listen to this every time.
Oh yeah,
on repeat.
They got you in the mood every single time.
It's just that
score is incredible. It's probably one of the best scores in television history.
Honestly, like, I mean, for me, it might be like the best score.
Yeah, because it's just so iconic and it adds to so many different scenes.
Yeah,
and it is a pretty diverse score too. Goes from jazz to heavy synths to, kind of like a goofier tone to a more sinister tone. Yeah. Like he's quite all over the place, and he matches most of the themes pretty perfectly, even though like he's using most of the same arrangements.
Yeah,
over and over again, but it still works. So yeah, so shout out to Angelo. You rule.
Angelo, you rule.
Thank you for being a part of this.
And then this masterpiece behind me too, that score.
Wow. That was your most listened to, or no, probably not most listened to. But
no, but like, yeah, like, like when they do their apps, do their music thing, it wasn't my most, but we watched that, the last weekend of October.
Mm-hmm.
So within like a month and a half, I listened to that album for 9 hours. Just that album.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, that man was loving that album and would wake up to.
Dude, I would throw it on my speakers and I would just
typing away. Yeah,
it's just jazz, dude. It's fucking.
Yeah, you like jazz,
dude? In the pink room. No, hold on. We'll talk about that later, because, So yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the cliffhangers in season 1. I know definitely like Leo getting shot was a big cliffhanger.
One of them was someone grabbing the necklace.
Dude, no, that was the cliffhanger of the pilot.
Was that the cliffhanger of the pilot? Oh, okay.
Because that was when Donna and James hide it, and then the cliffhanger is the somebody grabbed it.
So, there was a cliffhanger. Was one of them like killing Jock? Was that like near the end of an episode, pretty much?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a cliffhanger, but
because it's not revealed who kills him, right?
Then okay, that must be that must be a reveal.
Okay.
Oh, also, the actress who plays Laura Palmer also plays another character.
Yeah, she plays the cousin.
She plays the cousin.
When does the cousin come in, though?
I think
that was
like
more so season 2.
No, it's like
she comes in earlier.
I'm pretty sure,
because I thought most of season 1, because her role is more within the James and Donna world. So I feel like they would have built up James and Donna mostly during the first season.
Sorry, I'm looking it up.
No, what was her name?
That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to look up.
Well, anyway, while he's looking that up, so yeah, season 1. I mean,
Maddie.
Okay.
But Maddie's credited for episode. Let me just verify really quick.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, Maddie was introduced episode 4 of season 1.
Okay. So about halfway through. So she plays a pretty interesting role, and much more critical role once it gets toward the end of her character arc. So.
Fun fact is, David loved the actress who played Laura so much that he, wanted to use her more.
I don't blame him.
So he wrote in Maddie as a character, which then plays in a bigger part later on.
Yes.
Because it's pretty much, you can, maybe like back then you couldn't really tell, but like now, with the better screens and just HD, like you can clearly just see it's like her in a black wig with glasses.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, when she popped up on screen, didn't I like feel that was the same actress pretty early on?
Yeah.
Okay, but like you said, we're watching.
But
this all
I think the show also addresses it, because there's a plot point where they make her dress up as Laura to try to find information. I think it's from Dr. Jacoby.
It was Jacoby.
Yeah. So even like they address that, yes, she looks a lot like Laura.
Man, you have a lot of the same features.
Even though you're only cousins, and cousins don't look that much alike, but
very.
It's almost like you're a twin.
That's pretty much.
But yeah, she plays a really big part with like James and Donna, because James and Donna have the strongest connection with Laura, and then Maddie comes into the picture and tries to help out when she can. Leland works for Ben Horn, and obviously
is he his lawyer?
I don't know about. Yes, I think he is a lawyer. Yes, I think he is a lawyer. But like obviously him and Sarah are just grieving and in pain and sorrow.
Dude, that pilot. I'm like, dude, there's so much emotion because before you even meet any of these characters, really, you see their reactions to like the lore.
No, that's it's groundbreaking
how
in
it
the
just sets
way
the
that
tone.
it opens.
Yeah.
It opens with her corpse washing up on the shore,
Just
and
so
then it
raw and
cuts
visceral.
to Sarah and making breakfast, calling Laura, come on down, and you're just like, "Who? Is this? This must be your mom."
It's a pretty tough pill to swallow. When
Like you don't even know Laura's mom's name, and you already know
feel
like
the emotion.
like that's the mom of the girl that's dead.
That's fucked.
Dude, I'm getting chills right now. That's so good. Oh my god.
That's how you start a show, man. That's how you
Dude, that's such a good way to start a show.
Yep.
Like, how does that not hook you?
Exactly, because then you're like, well, shit. Especially, because she is so integral to all of Twin Peaks, pretty much. Like, she's One-Eyed Jacks. She's at the school. She's all these different families. She worked at the R&R, like all sorts of stuff. So having
Meals
that
on Wheels, which plays into
Meals on Wheels
season 2.
Yeah, baby. And Fire Walk with Me a little bit. So just having that main central focus, just finding out who the killer is, like it makes you come back more and more.
Yeah.
For season 1. So that's really, and then like obviously going into season 2, especially since
Let's just do it.
we don't know
Let's go into season 2.
the conclusion of who killed Laura. So season 2, pretty much.
The big thing is finding out that Leo is alive.
Yes.
And that he is paralyzed and he's pretty much a couch potato.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this whole plot with Shelley and Bobby, who are this definitely not meant to be together, but they are together.
Yeah.
They don't work well together. And they're trying, like, their plot is like trying to abuse the healthcare system to get the money and let Leo rot.
Mm-hmm.
But Leo is still a prime suspect in the murder of Laura Palmer. I'm pretty sure Jock died.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the killer?
Leland Palmer.
Because he was like, you killed my fucking daughter. I'm gonna fucking
kill you.
So he murders Jock and out of nowhere gets white hair.
Mm-hmm.
And is just going batshit crazy. He's singing,
like slowly losing his mind.
Singing and dancing and going. He's just
like, you just think like within the context of the show, you just think that his grief of his daughter has broken him at this point.
And also just like he murdered somebody. And so that's not good.
That really fucks with you psychologically, no matter how like, pure you are in the head.
And so going into that, like just more investigation. Gordon is introduced as a character finally, which is Dale Cooper's boss. Also a character that doesn't exist until season 3, really. Diane is always referenced to.
Diane, yeah. Also, Norma's husband.
Hank. Man, Hank wasn't in the return.
He wasn't, but was he in season 1? When does Hank come into the picture?
I'll see when Hank comes into the picture.
I think, like, so season 1 for Big Ed and Norma, and I guess Nadine as well, is, just like a will they, won't they relationship while Norma's man is still in prison, which ends up being Hank. And I'm pretty sure we were really introduced to Hank in the second season.
No, it has to be second season because I'm at characters who are only in like... What the hell?
So Hank gets introduced in season 2. Audrey gets into some... She's always curious about the case, and she is always wanting to help out.
No, he is in season 1.
He is? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I guess... fuck. It was just so long ago since we watched season 1. It's hard to just differentiate what happens.
We forgot the log lady.
Log lady? Yeah.
There's just too many people.
There's so many characters. Yeah, exactly. So, It's just the show does a great job of just like setting up all these different plot lines and relationships and, you know, situations, and eventually they all add up into, you know, just the case as a whole.
And the big thing of Twin Peaks with the Red Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And then the White Lodge is introduced later in the show. And they're trying to figure out whose bird it is and what the bird said and trying to decrypt the code.
Yeah. It's like they keep trying, like, they have this one piece of information, like, all right, maybe if we figure this out, this will lead us to the bigger picture, whether it's the bird or whether it's, you know, suspects or the necklaces.
Yeah.
You know, like, maybe that leads to something. Maybe the tapes lead to something.
And
maybe
like
the diary leads to something.
And like Josie,
fucking Josie.
She's getting blackmailed by like her brother that shows up.
Mm.
And
Lucy, Hawk, Andy.
All the a big plot point at the end of season 1 is Catherine's death.
Ah, yes. Yeah, because that was the last episode.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
1, right?
Was the lodge, not the lodge, the sawmill burns down with Shelley and Catherine in it.
Because Leo's trying to kill Shelley.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Catherine is dead and Shelley survives. Or you think Catherine is dead.
That was a pretty nice reveal. I was like, what the fuck? I kind of lost my mind over that.
Just because like that character that she was playing was like established like at least at 3 episodes in.
Yeah. And like I always thought the man was a little fishy. Like he just seemed like a little too aloof. I don't know. He was like, oh,
I think he looked too distinct to not be somebody.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
And
he does play such a big part.
Yes.
We know nothing about him.
No, so you know he's a big part, and then you realize, oh, that makes sense.
That's why. Okay.
Yes. Dude, there's just so much.
Exactly.
But obviously,
it's kind of hard to just go through everything.
It's hard to go because there's like at least 4 stories, and usually the stories is like Dale and Harry. And all of them with the investigation.
There's the investigation. Then
you have like James and Donna and what they're doing.
Cousin.
You have Bobby and Shelley and what they're doing. You have
Ben Horn, Jerry doing their stuff.
What they're doing. Then you have like Norma and Ed and Nadine and what they're doing. So that's like what, 5 stories?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you have like
Bobby and
I already said Bobby.
Mike.
No. Kind of. That's more season 1 with the baseball. Yeah, that's more season 1. But no, and then I was Pete and Josie and Catherine, like their stories too.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stories, guys.
Oh yeah. So yeah, a lot of these actors are usually working with the same people throughout most of the.
And then sometimes they blend in.
Yeah.
You know,
like
sometimes they meet
Cooper
at the diner.
Meets with people. Yeah, they go to the
Roadhouse. You know,
Roadhouse, the school. Like not really the school.
No, not the school.
JK.
And then also like we haven't really talked about like I guess like the David Lynchian part of it, which is like the Red Room.
Yes,
and
you get very very few hints of that, like
the visions
during the Laura,
the dreams that Dale,
the big man, the tall man, the giant,
yeah, and the arm, and you know just that's where the the smooth jazz, and
Laura,
just the
When does Laura get introduced in the Red Room?
She's not. Oof. No, I don't think she's there till the end.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think she's revealed at the end of the season 2.
Okay.
Oh, man. Well, no. No, in his dream, she's there.
Okay.
Because he's older, remember?
Yeah, because she whispers something into his ear.
He whispers something, and we don't know what that is. Because that's David Lynch.
Mystery.
So, that's just like that's like the whole Bob portion of like the mystical, just what is Twin Peaks.
That like you said, that is that Lynch, it's just like addition to the show.
All just the visuals,
the weird shit,
and just what's going on there. That's definitely like more of
the stuff where you're like, what am I watching right here?
Just when a white horse appears in the living room and you're like, what am I watching?
You're like, yes, metaphor.
But you got to pay attention.
Yes, there is a lot that Frost and Lynch do within their writing that you will definitely like probably miss first time around, especially when it comes to The Return. So that's where it's like, damn, like it's a lot of time to just rewatch everything. So like eventually I'll get there, but I'm like, dude, yeah, just rewatching at least the first.
It's definitely, it's like, I mean, television gives its way as you don't always have to pay attention because you spend so many hours with these characters, not like a movie where you should pay attention the whole time because you're only with them for 2 hours. But like a show like this, like there's a lot of talking, and then you might maybe look away for a few minutes and miss something very important. And so it's just a show that you have to listen to what everybody's saying because it's a mystery. And
a lot of like what particular characters are saying too, like mostly like Log Lady.
Log Lady is very cryptic. She's a bitch in that way. I love her, but
yeah, anything that happens in the Red Room with the giant or the arm,
usually whenever Dale's like trying to describe the dream he had the night before, and
because Lynch is very much like a poet with some of the dialogue he writes, so all of his dialogue that he does give his characters definitely hold weight and are important to like the main idea of everything that he's trying to go for. So when you're watching everything, just try to pay attention as much as you can.
This is it. Turn this off right now. If you hadn't watched a show and you're listening to this for some fucking reason, turn this off right now.
You made it up to this point,
or the show will be ruined for you.
The killer
3
is
2 1. Who is the killer, Connor?
Leland Palmer,
Laura's dad,
her father. Who that's only like the first part of like how fucked up that is.
Yes,
is only in the show. It's like, oh fuck, he killed his daughter.
Yeah,
that's already as fucked up as it is.
But the movie goes,
and then we'll get to the movie. But yeah, once you get to the movie, you're like, oh fuck. This is even more fucked.
Bob is darkness. He is this entity of evil,
and you get that sense, and while watching the first,
you get that Bob is
so.
Because a big thing is that they have a sketch of what Bob looks like. And people have seen him, but he doesn't exist. He's not a real person. You can't
find him.
So he's just this entity that lives in the forest and just the dark crevices of Twin Peaks. But he's actually been living inside of Leland for like 40 years.
Yeah,
since he was like, I think I read that it was 8 or something when he entered Leland. I think it's in the book, in one of Mark Frost's books, is that he entered him when he was like a young kid.
Okay.
And, that's so fucked.
Well, according to David Lynch, I don't think he necessarily is on board with everything that's in the Mark Frost things.
He's definitely not.
So that's where it's like...
But like that's where it's hard because they're both the creators.
Yes.
So I have to listen to both of them.
Yeah.
I can't just ignore one when the other one says, no, I don't believe in that.
I guess as much as we love David, like,
I have to respect.
It's very much Mark's show.
Yeah, I have to respect what Mark also wants to bring to the table.
Right.
So, because David's just more like whatever, like he's like, it's in my mind and I'm just gonna go with it. And Mark is definitely more like, no, this is how it goes.
There's a reason for everything.
Mark is more linear, but like does the twists and turns. David just does the twists and turns.
Yes.
And he's like, find it out. But so yes, Leland.
He's more the mystery man.
He is Laura Palmer's killer, and he reveals himself to Laura's cousin in a very brutal scene.
Oh yeah.
It's so impactful and so raw.
So dark.
It's dude, like the punching in the face, like it kind of blew my mind that was on television in 90.
Dude, there's a lot of dark shit on this show, like, or just mature in general. Just the entire One-Eyed Jack, like, just storyline. It's like, holy shit, like, they're showing this on television.
So with him being revealed, that's why he got the white hair. He was showing more of like who he was becoming. And he murders Maddie, that was her name, Maddie, the cousin. And eventually he gets caught.
Yes.
Because he just can't keep getting away with this.
And just a great performance from the actor that plays Leland.
Yes.
What's his name?
What is his name? His name is
Ray Wise. Ray Wise. Yeah, just him bouncing. Once it is revealed that he is Bob, or Bob is inside of him, whenever he's bouncing back and forth between both of them, that's where it's like, damn, like, this guy is really bringing his all, like, as an actor. And that carries in the Firewalk with me. And it's like, movie, man. And you don't even see him for, like, the second half of season 2. And then, like...
because he dies.
Yes. Well, yes. But that's where it's like, damn. Like... But, I mean, you get so much of him in the first, like, 20 episodes where it's, like, it's satisfying. But, yeah.
That is where the show dies.
Yes, this show definitely dies with...
David never intended to... I think also Mark was on board, like, at least not till the very end, to reveal the killer.
Yeah.
But they did. They revealed Leland.
They were forced
and then,
their
like,
hand.
I think there was only 2 episodes left. Like, Leland was revealed, and then I think, like, the next episode or the episode after that, he died.
Mm-hmm.
And after his death, it's over.
Yeah.
Because the next episode...
Because, I mean, that's the entire reason why Dale's even there in the first place. So now that that's solved, why would Dale need to be there?
Because he crossed the borders at One-Eyed Jackson, Canada, and he was...
That was the most bullshit thing.
He has to get his badge removed because you were not on U.S. territory permitted. And so he loses his badge, people, and he becomes a sheriff of Twin Peaks. And now the show becomes a more traditional soap opera. You lose a lot of David. You can feel the absence of David, for sure.
It's just like the writers quickly trying to get something interesting together.
I guess we kind of foreshadowed this a little bit ago. But throughout the show, they were building up the Audrey and Dale relationship. And Audrey is in high school, and Dale is probably like in his late 20s, when the show is taking place. Mm-hmm. And I guess, like, during the time that the show was there, everybody loved them. They were like a power couple, apparently. Mm-hmm. Like, on magazines, it was those two, like Audrey and Dale. Like, everybody loved them. But Kyle was dating Donna's actress at the time. They were dating together, and Donna was jealous that Audrey and Kyle were getting more screen time together than her and Kyle, which doesn't make any sense because...
Well, was that her reasoning, or was it more just like... If I'm not gonna have him in this show, no one's gonna have him.
Well, yeah, it was pretty much like, I'm not sharing scenes with my boyfriend, so you're not gonna get to share scenes with your my boyfriend.
Yeah, even though she makes out with James
multiple times,
many times.
But to be fair, also Kyle was not on board with it, more for like the fact that she was a minor.
Yes,
which I get that too. He was like, I don't believe like my character would date, a minor like that. Yeah. So like,
and for the most part, that's how it's built up. How Dale is built up to be with that relationship.
Yeah. So you good?
Yeah, I heard.
Oh,
you good?
So just like taking that into account, when, Dale and Audrey just disappear, their storyline, pretty much they throw Audrey with Bobby, comes out of nowhere, and like they just start flirting for no reason.
I mean, this is after the fact that Audrey was like kidnapped and sedated for like several episodes.
Yeah, and like that's why Dale like lost his badge, because he was going to save Audrey. Mm-hmm. And James stupidly runs off and lives with this widow and fixes her car and fucks her, and then gets like framed for murder.
The most James like storyline ever.
So fucking stupid. Yeah, Bobby's just trying to become a businessman for Ben Horn.
Yeah, he's like starting to work for Ben Horn.
Yeah.
Which then gets into Audrey, like his relationship with Audrey.
And like, so like Dale's like, and so there's like at least like there's like 4 episodes where like absolutely nothing happens.
Yeah.
Also, Lucy is pregnant.
Yes.
And there's this character Dick who comes in. I think he is introduced in season 1 as like, I think he's like a one-off character as like a rivalry to Andy. But Lucy is pregnant, and she doesn't know who the father is. Is it Andy, the lovable sheriff, or is it Dick, the fucking fuck?
The fucking fuck. That's pretty much a good description of Dick.
And then this little kid who they think is the devil shows up, who is like Dick's nephew.
Oh, dude, that's so
probably the worst storyline. Nadine. Oh, that's a cliffhanger from season 1. Nadine kills herself or commits suicide. She takes all those pills, and she goes into a coma, and she wakes up from that coma, and she's in high school.
Yeah, she
has the strength of like Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
and it's fucking goofy.
It's really goofy, but it's like some of the more entertaining stuff.
Like I missed the traumatic relationship that Ed and Nadine had with Norma, like that love triangle, but like that goofy just her going to high school and falling in love with Mike and like then them having like hooking
cheerleader tryouts.
Yeah, the cheerleader tryouts, and just like have this clearly like 40-year-old like going to high school, like and everybody kind of accepting it, which is great.
Like, okay, we'll play along.
And then so what happens is Briggs, Admiral Briggs, he was definitely like, he was just a character in season 1.
Yeah, he was just like Bobby's dad.
He was just Bobby's dad.
He's Bobby's stern, like, military
and
dad.
Clearly, like, David abandoned the show, but I think Mark was still there, and, like, they still had the script. So clearly, David and Mark knew that, you know, Briggs was going to play a bigger part, and then he played a fucking huge part in The Return.
Because he work for like Area 51?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's very confidential.
Yeah,
like,
he's a very confidential like government employee.
And like a big moment in the dog shit era of season 2 is Dale and Briggs go camping, and Briggs disappears.
Yes,
he just goes into this white light and disappears.
So many disappearing characters throughout the show.
And when he comes back, you know, he has like a mark on his neck, and
it turns out to be the symbol, right?
Yeah, the mountain on the ring. Yeah, you know, and it gets very like, it gets convoluted, and there's like this cave painting, and what's his name? The villain that shows up, Dale's. Oh,
that's a good question. What is his name?
It's kind of a cool name, honestly.
It is. But yeah, so he shows up.
He shows up, and you learn more about Dale's past. You learn about his wife that he lost. That was this other person. Like,
Wyndham Earl.
Yeah, Wyndham Earl.
Yeah, he's Cooper's former partner at the Bureau.
Which, yeah, he steals his wife, and then Wyndham Earl murders his wife. And now he's come back to get Dale.
So that is like a good... That was when it was all said and done, that was a good way to finish season 2.
Yeah,
was to introduce, you know,
and then you also
villain.
and now
you needed a new villain to like,
and you introduced that, like, because one thing is that, like, yes, the relationship with Audrey didn't work, so instead of carrying that on, introduce that Dale had somebody he loved, lost that somebody, and now have a new sweet girl roll in to Twin Peaks.
At the very end of Twin Peaks.
Norma's, I think it's like Norma's niece or something, right?
Something like that. Yeah, she has some relation with her.
And little Annie.
Hello, Heather Graham.
Heather Graham, little Annie.
Annie.
And Dale is just struck. Just like the bum.
I'm in love, Harry.
And he, you know, is chasing her like, you know, he's just like a little dog, you know, just puppy eyes.
Yeah, his freaking face lights up every single time.
Every time. Her. And then it gets good.
At the very end.
David was like, fine, I'll come back. I'm going to make a fucking amazing episode, and then the show's going to get canceled.
I remember how just like upset I was, but just be like, damn. This is so fucking good. I can't even be mad at this.
Yes.
And that was the only 10 I gave in the entire first 2 seasons was that final episode of season 2.
That's your only 10?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
On first watch.
First watch.
Yeah. So I think it was a 10 because like everything had eventually been built up to that point, and then it leaves so many cliffhangers.
And so like Wyndham Earl takes Annie into the Red Room, and Dale follows after.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when so much good shit happens.
Shit hits the fan.
That is when the introduction of a doppelganger shows up, and the doppelganger of Dale is revealed, and there is an amazing chase scene where Dale is chasing his doppelganger, and the doppelganger escapes. But you think during the show, you just think it's Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends with him in the lodge. And he goes into his little bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, didn't he... They were like looking after him. So what was the context of like Harry?
Well, Harry was waiting for him to return.
Yeah.
And eventually he returned. And then like I think he like fell or something or like passed out.
Something
and then
like
they
that.
brought him back to the lodge, and he woke up and he was kind of acting weird. And he like went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's when he smacks his head. Well, at first he sees the reveal. He sees Bob.
Uh-huh.
And then he like smacks his head, and he's like, "How's Annie?
How's Annie?
How's Annie?"
How's Annie?
And then the show ends. Audrey gets blown up.
Yeah, dude. So much happens in that last
Nadine
episode.
realizes she hits her head on. She hits her head again.
She gets bonked again,
and she like everything comes back to normal. And like Norma and Edward this close to like signing off.
So close.
Yeah. And then the show just ends.
And you just, I could not imagine watching that show live.
But at the same time, the viewership went down tremendously.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many people watched the season finale.
I mean, I'm sure a good amount just from the fans. So I'm saying, like,
But the fans,
as a fan,
as a fan, okay,
yeah,
yes.
like how are you
as
feeling?
A fan,
how are you feeling
heartbroken.
right after that? Like what the fuck? You can't end it like this, because they probably knew that it wasn't gonna be sticking around much longer.
No.
The news probably that it wasn't getting picked up for a third season was probably already out at that point.
Well, no, yeah, because we checked the dates. They did a 6-episode hiatus. So I think they held off on those 6 episodes because, no, that was it. Yes, the show got canceled, and then they held on to those 6 episodes, and they weren't going to release them. And then fans started writing, and David was very vocal about, like, people send letters to NBC and demand those 6 episodes to get released. So that's why they got released about 2 months later.
Okay.
Could you imagine the show just stopped airing and there were still 6 hours, practically 5 hours of television left?
Yeah. So you're saying that the final 6 episodes were like that?
I think, or around there, 4 or 5.
Okay.
Like they canceled the show and then they didn't air those 5 episodes.
So I wonder what was the last episode that they canceled and then they kept going.
Hold on.
Anyway.
You keep talking while I look.
Yes. So that's how season 2 ends, and then you're left with, well, where the hell is Dale Cooper? Why, since this isn't Dale, is he trapped in this body, or is he trapped in the red room, or et cetera, et cetera, which then leads us to Fire Walk with Me, which gets released a couple years later. And
Wait, so we're talking about Fire Walk with Me now?
not yet, but I'm just saying, that's what it leads into. I wasn't sure, what else to harp on the last
Found it right
episode.
here. So the death of Josie premiered on February 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next episode, which was the introduction of Annie, didn't premiere until March 28th.
Damn.
So that's probably
over a month.
over a month. And then the last 2 episodes. Episode 20 was April 18th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 2 episodes were premiered as a double feature on June 10th.
Damn. Yeah, so they really took their time with like
holding it off,
finishing this season, sort of thing.
Yeah,
but yeah. So yeah, what else did you want to talk about?
Fire Walk with Me.
We're going into it.
Yes.
Okay.
So Fire Walk with Me is a prequel, and Mark Frost is not attached because Mark wanted to continue the story that they left off, and David's like, no, let's talk about Laura. Because that's what I'm interested in.
Yes, that is his pride and joy, is Laura Palmer.
So, I had never seen it. Matthew, shout out Matthew, got it for me for Christmas last year. You can go watch that video, my reaction, because that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. Like, out of any criterion, he got me Firewalk with Me. Like, that's pretty
I'm glad he did.
Yes.
Because, yeah, that was on hand right after we were done with the show.
So, we were pushing through season 2 just to get to Firewalk with Me. We're like, we need to see this movie now.
Because I knew it was gonna be special.
So, still spoilers throughout. But also, don't watch Firewalk with Me if you hadn't watched the show. Because this movie clearly shows that Leland is fucking molesting his daughter and is going to kill her eventually. So there is no mystery. It's more just you're holding your breath until it happens. The thing is the climax is the murder. That's what this whole movie's about.
And it's just like the context that you've always wanted.
Yes.
You've always wondered, well, how was Laura? How did she
that was the pitch of the show. That was the pitch of the movie, is that like you get to see Laura's last few days.
Yeah.
So, but before even that, the first act definitely threw us off board.
Yes, especially since because of how long it took up of the movie. So it's Gordon. Well, not Gordon. Well, it's mostly what's their names? Do you remember their names?
No, but so a little history if you don't know, because dude, Connor and I, at least these last like 2.5 months, it's been Twin Peaks just like on my mind constantly. That's why I wanted to do this podcast.
Yes.
And that's why our brains are so scattered, just because like this was definitely like this was so off the cusp. Like I just was like, hey, let's just do this. But Kyle did not want to get typecast as Dale Cooper. He didn't want to be typecast as just this like detective actor. So he accepted to reprise his role as Dale, but he didn't want to play a bigger role as David intended, which is why they introduced this new detective, which is
it's Agent Desmond, and then Kiefer Sutherland's character is Agent Stanley.
So Dale was supposed to be Desmond, but he said, I'll reprise my role, but I don't want to be in it as much. And so at least he wanted to be in it, and he still played a good amount. But we are introduced to this Desmond, and is like the opening scene the bus?
That's not the very opening scene. I think the opening scene is the TV gets smashed, and then no, isn't the introduction Gordon and the office?
No,
that isn't.
No.
Okay. So is it the bus?
It might be the bus.
Okay.
No, I think it's Gordon at a different office.
Yes,
and he stands up and he's calling him.
And then
so the bus is like at least minute 2 or 3.
It is the first
which is an amazing funny scene.
Yeah,
just a bunch of crying children and some punk ass adults getting arrested.
They look like hookers. Which is
definitely.
Funny.
Yes.
It's like, what is happening?
So, anyways, you're thrown in to Gordon, who has been established as a character from season 2 as the FBI.
From here on out, Gordon plays a very important part in all of Twin Peaks.
So he established that a murder of Teresa Banks. Shocked! I just knew that.
Good job.
Yeah, I was like, shit.
I would have gotten that.
Yeah. Of Teresa Banks has shown up, and that he wants Desmond to go fly over to not Twin Peaks exactly, but like the town over.
Yeah.
And go there and do the investigation. And so the first act is about this nameless, like short-haired blonde girl who got murdered, and you go to the trailer park and you see where she lived, and you're just like, what does this have to do with anything?
You get introduced to Harry Dean Stanton's
This is where is Laura? Where's Bobby?
Yeah, like when you're watching it, you're like, how?
Because I was even
like, what is happening? Like,
I was shocked that I was shocked that the FBI's were even in it, because I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then it gets fucking even stranger, because Dale's like Gordon. It's 11:15. I had a dream, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
And then he walks into the hallway. He stares at the camera. And then he walks in.
He's looking for Philip Jeffries.
He looks up for Philip Jeffries. And then fucking David Bowie, Philip Jeffries himself, walks in. He's like, now we're not going to talk about Judy. We're not going to talk about her at all. And then it fucking just gets you thrown into this fucking room, and Bob's hanging out with the arm and some fucking
the nose guy.
the nose guy. You have the cream corn in the center.
Yep.
And
You have David Lynch's son. You have the old lady.
the little kid and the old lady, and like
The guy's like covered in soot.
Oh,
like
and
the black guy.
The arm is just talking about the table color, and he's like, he's going crazy. And then fucking Philip Jeffries just disappears. And then
Where'd he go?
And then cue Twin Peaks music. And then we see Laura Palmer walk into high school with Donna.
It's just like, you don't realize how important that act is in the grand scheme
No. Because you're thinking it's about Laura.
Yeah.
So the first like 30, 40 minutes is all agent stuff, and I was thrown off. And then we rewatched about 2 weeks later, because I was just so obsessed. I needed to rewatch
we had to see it again.
And like the first act flew by after like knowing what was happening, and I appreciate it so much more. And dude, no, yeah, that scene with David Bowie, so fucking good. That scene, like, pretty much establishes why the return exists.
Yes.
So that's a very important scene.
It's David Lynch planting that act so that if there is a future of Twin Peaks, that is where that direction is going. Whereas the rest of the film is just, yes, it also plays a little bit into the return, but also
it does.
It could just stand as, just a prequel sort of thing, just more context to everything.
And so then you're just thrown into Twin Peaks, and Laura's alive with a new Donna.
Mm-hmm.
And
new Donna.
They recasted Donna.
OG Donna.
And pretty much it's just following her life and just the weird things that she goes through, and the people she sees, and all the fucking coke she does, and fucking James in the locker room, and
while Bobby's looking for her.
Yeah, while Bobby's looking for her, and she's just a troublemaker.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when we watched Fire Walk with Me, I kind of forgot that, like, Bobby and her were kind of together.
That's how long it took us to watch season 1. Like, we watched season 1, and then we took a long break. And then
this season 2 took a while to get
Well, no, we watched like a few episodes of season 2, and then we went really hard.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Because we're like, we got to get through this. We got to get to Fire Walk with Me. Fire Walk with Me was always the milestone, like the checkpoint. So as long as we're getting there. But yes, back to Fire Walk with Me, though.
And so the movie just pretty much revolves around Laura and her last few days. Oh my God, we even talk about the guy that stays inside. 'Cause that's a huge plot point of Donna.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was the whole diary thing.
Yeah, the whole diary.
Yeah,
is that she has? I don't remember his name. He is a significant character.
Yeah. Because he's in the film as well.
He's in the film. He has a scene, so David was like, this character is important.
Yeah, he matters.
But I guess, like, from the show, just quickly, that's why Donna sucks, is because she pretty much pushed this man to his limits to get information about Laura to the point where he killed himself.
Because he had a copy of her diary, right?
Yes, and she wanted it. And she kept pushing him.
Yeah.
And he just eventually...
she ends up, using him, and then that pushes him to kill himself. So that's where Donna sucks from there on.
Yeah.
Big time.
But... pretty much, the movie is just, I keep being redundant, but pretty much it's just Laura going from point A to point B. She goes to school. She hangs out with Donna. You see that her and Leland don't have a good relationship. It's very awkward. It's the house, like, there's a lot of tension.
Yeah.
And eventually it builds up to a nice, satisfying, uncomfortable reveal when she realizes who Bob is.
Yeah.
Because she's always been she's been terrified of Bob, but she doesn't know who Bob is.
Yeah, he's always been in her life, but she never knew like if he was real or not, sort of thing.
So when that reveal happens,
that's when like, yeah, it's the beginning of the end, basically.
Yes,
because that snaps her psychologically.
Because she sees it. She sees her father molesting her.
Yeah, I mean,
and the realization.
Any other person that is dealing with this, would probably fucking react the same way.
Yeah, I mean, if you have issues with stuff like that, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, but trigger warning for that.
It's a big trigger warning, even just for rape.
Yeah.
But with that being said, she just goes in a downhill spiral and goes on a fucking wild ass night with Donna, and they go to the pink room, which is like probably my favorite scene of the movie.
That score.
Oh, that score.
That music.
It's just the hypnotic.
It's just looping over and over and over again.
And I love how, because movies all the time, you hear them. Here, you don't hear them.
No, you need subtitles.
Which makes it just so much more real. Like, it's like if you're at a club and the music's just banging in your fucking eardrums, even if the person's standing right next to you, you can barely hear them.
You have to shout in order for them to hear anything you're saying.
For a movie to actually go out of the way to do that, you're staring at that screen because you're just like not wanting to miss any minute detail. And that is where, I don't know, the other victim. Oh, we didn't even talk about her on the show. She doesn't really play that big of a part. But the other girl that was shown, that was with Laura the night she got murdered.
Yeah, and the pilot, she's in that. And then like
she's in the pilot, she's like in a few episodes after that.
When they need her for a plot convenience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene with the picture of the door and her entering it, and I just love this movie, dude. It's great. And like with that reveal of Leland, it's just building up and she gets fucking murdered. That's great.
Oh yeah. It's just everything accelerates just so fast toward the end. And you know it's coming, obviously, because we know her fate. But it's just so tragic seeing her downfall so quickly.
Yeah.
Because you know that they're like, she is good in a lot of ways, but, you know, obviously a lot of people don't realize what's going on, you know, behind the scenes with a lot of different relationships and everything. So that's kind of like the main theme of the show is just like that balancing of the light and the dark, you know.
Yeah.
Which, you know, will play into the return more so with all the doppelgangers and everything. So.
And with the movie, you know, I mentioned that Teresa Banks was murdered. You find out that Leland is the one who kills her once he's revealed. And and then there's a great scene with the one-armed man confronting them at the stoplight.
Another scene where you could barely understand what the fuck anyone's saying because it's just so much like blaring of horns and everything.
It's just, Ray Wise is phenomenal. He's like he was really good in the show, but he's like, this is my moment to shine. Because in the show, he didn't know he was the killer until it was ready. Yeah. So like going into this movie, he gets that mentality. He gets to play this fucked up father.
And that dark state of mind.
So he had such more time to get into that dark state of mind that he is like fucking phenomenal.
Now with the missing pieces, would you have wanted there to be a few more lighthearted family moments like we've talked about, like with the mom and even like with Leland, like where he's, I'm hungry. You remember that scene?
Oh yeah, the hungry scene, or the scene where they foreshadow like all those like people from Switzerland. Remember they call back to that?
Yeah.
That they were going to come to the lodge. Yeah, that was really cool. I don't know about him, but I would have liked to seen more of Sarah because Sarah didn't really get to do much.
Yeah.
And then the reveal of who she actually is in the return is kind of unsettling.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, wait, that's been in you this whole time. But when it came to the missing pieces, if we're bouncing to that, the missing pieces was about, what, an hour-ish of deleted scenes?
Yeah.
That David pretty much restored and edited together and released in 2014 as a pretty much like a love letter to Fire Walk with Me and a hint to what was to come.
Yeah. Like we get the full like unedited cut of the Philip Jeffries scene too.
Yes, yeah, we get, which is fucking damn important.
Yeah.
And then the ending, which blew my mind, they pretty much reshot the climax of Dale.
Yeah.
And
just
like,
added a little bit
and
more
the
to
fate
it.
of Annie.
Uh-huh.
And so it was good. And like they had scenes in there of all the other characters, and those just don't work well with the narrative.
There's a reason why they were cut out.
Because it's a movie, not a television show.
Yeah.
You can't just introduce characters and that's it. That's just where TV and movies are different.
So that's where, like, yeah, the missing pieces is truly for the Twin Peaks fans. That's just like want a little bit more.
Yeah, who just want to see the world that like is technically canon. It just didn't make the movie. You know, like I think if David
he wrote them and shot them, so
if he acknowledged them to the point where he remastered it, pretty much, it's like
he made his own master cut.
I am acknowledging that this exists.
Right.
Like it can just exist as it's seen. Like the scene of Ed and Nora, it's great. I love it. They're just cuddling in a truck. But where the fuck would you have put that?
Exactly.
Like Norma is in like 2
Which is why,
shots.
like, it's interesting. Like, yeah, like how did he write it? You know, like why would?
Because Mark wasn't on this at all. So yeah,
No.
like, was it just like Leland is revealed as the killer? Cut to 2 people cuddling in the car. Like, no, that doesn't work. That's
No.
I don't know where.
Whatever.
Yeah, but
So it was fun trying to figure out where everything would be too, like with the missing pieces, like where they fit within Fire Walk with Me. But yeah, it was just like there are a couple important or interesting scenes, but there's a reason why they're cut out to begin with. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, just wanted to, acknowledge that missing pieces exists.
yeah, and I'm glad we watched it. Like, it was a good time because we rewatched the movie, and then I think you said if we wanted to rewatch the pilot, and I was like, nah, let's do the missing pieces.
Yes.
So, Firewalk with Me rules. I'll probably watch it again soon
Yes.
because I love it so much, and it got fucking obliterated.
Yeah.
People hated this thing.
Both like critically, financially, and like just with audiences. Because I think just a lot of audiences that love the show so much, they weren't ready to see this version of Laura.
They
I
wanted
guess.
to see a continuation because the show got canceled with all these cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, I probably would have been in the same mindset.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have grown to appreciate the movie, but I think initially it's like, what? No, Laura's case was solved. I don't need to see more of her.
Yeah.
What happened to Audrey?
Yeah. So you feel like you would have reacted differently if you had known that the return will not exist after Fire Walk with Me.
In a 1994 world, or whenever this movie came out.
Yeah, I think it was like 92 actually.
92. So in a world of 92, when I heard there was a Twin Peaks movie, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this would be great.
Oh my god.
See the trailer. Wait, Laura Palmer? What? Watch the movie? Okay, cool. She died. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how a lot of people felt. So
But like, and I honestly think it's just, even like the reason why it got so many bad reviews is people were just more mad at David for not giving him the answers.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
That's a continuing theme throughout Twin Peaks history.
It's just like,
It's just people
but I
getting
can understand
impatient.
their disappointment with this.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's like, man, you're just giving this movie, you're looking at this movie as utterly pointless when it's not. because it doesn't give you answers, but more questions, if anything. But that's good.
Yeah.
You don't need all the answers.
It leaves you thinking more. It leaves you wanting more.
And they do get more.
So, I guess we should go back to the final episode of season 2 that leads into the return, I guess, which is what Laura says to Cooper.
Yes.
In the red room.
An amazing line.
Yes.
Which is
a line that baby, like, my jaw dropped to the floor whenever she said.
Which is I don't. Do you remember exactly?
It's like I'll see you in 25 years.
Something like that.
Little hand thing.
Yeah, her little hand thing. And I remember just looking at Connor.
I was like, what the fuck?
Doing the math in his head.
I was just like, oh my god, he did it, and like, it just blows my mind even more because. When you first watch that, when it probably comes on TV, you're like, oh, okay, whatever, 25 years, whatever. But now that you know that he literally made the return 25 years after this, I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, you were thinking about this the entire time, I swear. He's always had this master plan.
Yes.
No matter
Twin
what.
Twin Peaks has been his master.
Yes.
Like, I think this story has been what he's always,
because I feel like he created the story with Mark, and then like he's just seen the potential and he's wanted to like expand on that potential through other projects. And so that takes us to the return, a Showtime original, 16 episodes. Like,
I thought it was 18
episodes. Yeah, even longer.
18 like hour
long
ish.
I think probably the minimum was like 55 minutes, and probably the longest was like 58, 59.
Yeah, I don't think an episode ever went over an hour, but so it was like a solid 17 hours of television.
Yes, at least 17 hours.
And disclaimer. We enjoyed it. But we're not going to gush over it like the last hour of what we just gushed over.
It definitely needs to warrant a rewatch eventually.
Honestly, it needs a rewatch solely because I could not tell you what the Doppelganger's mission was. What his objective was to find Judy.
Yeah.
I could have, like, if you asked me, like on episode 16... what the Doppelganger has been doing this whole time, I would have said, like, oh, he's going to Twin Peaks. But no, he was trying to find Judy.
Yeah.
And so that just shows you that I need to watch it again. Because I was paying attention, but I was being a little bitch.
I mean, we both were.
Because I love Dale. Dale and Leland are my favorite characters in the show. One of them dies. So... nonetheless, Dale then becomes...
And then Firewalk with Me gave you that Leland that you needed.
Yes.
That Leland closure.
The Leland, yes, Firewalk. And so Dale has always been my other favorite character.
I mean, he's the
star.
most lovable
How can you not
main
love
character.
Dale?
Like, everyone's going to love Dale Cooper.
And, dude, this show just did Dale dirty to me, man.
So technically, he's there the entire show.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
But he is in a sedated mindset,
yes,
I guess.
He is just... and I get it. The show, it just throws you into the Red Room, which is amazing. He is there with the firemen. They're just chilling. And he's like, I gotta go. And then...
That is pretty much how it is.
And he fucking escapes, which is great. And a new version of the arm, which is fucking visually
So
awesome.
I think the arm didn't die. He just didn't want to do it. I don't.
No, that was I told you he retired like a year.
That's right. Okay.
He retired like a year or two before they started filming.
Yeah,
and he didn't want to come back.
Good for him for staying true to his guns, I guess. But
I guess same with Harry.
Harry upset me. But anyway, whatever.
Literally, the second star of the show didn't want to return.
Son of a.
No, so it's honestly, we like jumbled around with just how many plot lines there were in the original show. but there's just way.
It takes it to the next level in this.
There's just
series.
so many more characters.
And
almost
locations.
everybody returns, besides a few people who have died in real life,
or that didn't want to be in this,
or they want to be in it anymore. And then, so on top of those, like 25 characters, there's about another 25 characters that are introduced.
Oh yeah,
that might only be in one episode, but you're gonna be spending time with them, and then they're just never gonna show up again.
Yep.
And Akshay and Aditya, who lended us this fine Blu-ray set.
Thank you, boys.
Akshay told us that this David Lynch is not like the David Lynch that we know. He's changed. And so I was going into that, I was like, okay, interesting. And and so like going into this, the first 2 episodes are phenomenal. I love them. The opening scene with this glass box and this guy changing
in
out
New York City,
changing out the cameras, and
they're studying whatever's in this box.
He's like, something's gonna show up in this box and I'm gonna catch it on. And then, you know, this girl, she really wants to know, she's super nosy, and she's like, I'll fuck you if you can let me come in here. And he's like,
what
whoa,
a seed.
okay. And so they're gonna fucking do it, and this disturbing image comes on in the box, and it just starts floating and like shifting, and then it just fucking obliterates.
It's just
them.
like it's like a saw,
Dude.
like
It
a
was
power saw.
Those first 10 minutes like blew me away. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
So was that the beginning of episode 2?
No, I think it was the beginning of episode 1.
I don't think it starts out like that, though.
Well, I think it starts out with Dale, and then I think it goes to them.
But what I'm saying is like that whole box thing. I think it sets up the guy and the girl, and like she's trying to get in.
Yes, the end of season.
And then they come back to it.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. It doesn't happen in season the first episode, but it's still. Wait, no, yes, it did.
Maybe the end of episode 1, but I'm saying like it's starting. Like we just set up like him watching the thing, and then later, because that's when the security guard wasn't there anymore, and that's where she was like, "Oh, is he not here this time?" He's like, "I guess not."
Yeah, okay.
And that's how she gets in.
Well, yeah, because he turns her away the first time.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. You're right.
Yeah.
But still, it was really good tension building for just what's in the.
And it's mysterious. You're like, well, what the fuck are we? What? How is this going to play into everything?
And then you're introduced to Shaggy.
Yeah. Shaggy.
Live action. Lillard. Damn it.
Like Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard. That's it. Matthew Lillard is a principal at a school in like South Dakota or somewhere.
Yeah.
And he gets arrested for the murder of the librarian at the local school. And her head is chopped off. But like, no, her body's missing. It is the body of former Admiral Briggs. And it is her head. And they're like, wait a minute. Admiral Briggs died 25 years ago in a fire. This is a body of like a 75-year-old man. That doesn't add up.
Yeah.
He's been dead for 25 years. And you're like, oh, okay. I'm in.
Yeah. There's a lot of intrigue early on. They plant a lot of seeds.
And like Gordon is there, and Albert is there, and
Agent Presley.
Agent Presley is this new...
the pretty lady that David likes to look at.
There as well. and then like Twin Peaks itself, so Harry doesn't return, and so you think Hawk is going to be like the main sheriff, but there's actually another Truman.
Played by Robert Forster.
Yes. He plays Harry's brother, which I don't think was ever referenced in the original show.
I don't think so.
And Harry's, supposedly, he is referenced multiple times. I don't think they ever say cancer, but that's what I assume it is.
Because I think his brother says, like, yeah, you need to just, like, beat this.
Yeah, they keep saying beat this.
So it's either a sickness, it's some sort of sickness.
Yeah, he's dying some way. Possibly dying some way.
Yeah.
They are probably the only Twin Peaks story that has a plot, really, an important plot. Like, and also Bobby now works there, which I'm disappointed that we didn't mention it, but the guy he killed never came back in the return.
Nope.
That's so disappointing. There was so much potential there.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, Bobby killed a guy.
yeah, Bobby killed a guy. And now he's a sheriff. So
Hey, he's a changed man.
changed man.
Character
Dude,
development.
honestly, like so much respect for that actor. Like he literally felt like he never left Bobby. Like he was. I kind of wanted more.
because
of
he
him.
picked it right back up
Yeah,
too. Like a lot.
honestly, like I feel like out of any of the actors, like he almost felt the most natural as
Yeah.
like a returned character. Shelly's back. Norma's back. Ed's back for a little bit. Nadine, Jacoby is Jacoby's the first scene. That's the first scene.
Yeah, it's him walking out of
And picking the shovels,
getting
the
shovels.
shipment.
Yeah,
That's the first scene.
that's how the return starts.
There we go.
Fucking Dr. Jacoby. There we go.
We got it.
Attaboy. I was like, yeah, I'm sure there was another scene. All right, cool.
And so Dale escapes the Red Room. But also we're introduced to the doppelganger.
Yes.
We're like, whoa, who's this sexy devil with this
It's like,
tan
oh my
looking long
god,
hair?
it's fucking Cooper with long hair.
And like they never like I don't think they ever say his name.
No.
At least none of like the people around him. I think like Gordon and all of them call him Dale.
Yeah.
But I don't think like any of the people that interact with the doppelganger call him Dale.
No, I think they called him something else.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah, I'm
I don't
pretty
remember
sure.
what it is though.
Or nothing, just
Yeah.
So you're introduced to this doppelganger who honestly you get to fucking know more than what Dale's been doing because Dale's playing somebody else. Anyways, that's a different thing. So
We'll get there.
this doppelganger, he's on a mission to supposedly kill Judy, but I kind of forgot about that halfway through the season. And also that's when we realized that this show is just going to kill people off. With the first show, barely killed anybody off. I think the first show killed like one person off, Jock. I think that was it. Because Leo survived, Catherine survived.
I mean, Leland died.
Okay, so two.
The cousin died.
All right, so three. My bad. But like,
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple more, honestly.
I don't really say Josie. She just turned into furniture.
Yeah. Well, she's gone, I guess. You kind of kill
guess.
her off.
Anyways, though, the first episode, like three people died.
Were dying in this show. Yeah.
Yeah, like people were dying.
Kids
bodies
die in
were
this
chopped
show.
up. Like, fuck. Kids
A
dying in
kid
this
dies in this, like,
Dude, you see it.
you watch it happen. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, David did not give a fuck.
No.
But no, so the first two episodes also premiere as a movie pretty much. And it's really good.
Now, wasn't that
That was at
shown at con?
it was at con and
Okay.
people, it was a 5-minute applause.
Yeah.
They're like, David, we're sorry for booing you 25 years ago. This is a masterpiece.
Take us back. No, fuck you. You hated my movie.
He's like, now I'm going to make you annoyed after these 18 hours. But everybody else is going to love it besides these two fuckers in Georgia.
Years removed. We're good. we were late to the party.
So then the next two episodes happen and Dale escapes and he's in like this emptiness realm pretty much.
Dude, that was such a great sequence.
It's just like a little building surrounded by ocean. And he's just kind of lost in here. And there's this girl who she has like eyelashes all over her face, but her eyes are gone.
Yeah.
And she can't really speak. And she's like touching him and trying to communicate. And he gets sucked into this tiny little thing. And then he gets pulled out of this tiny little thing. First off, we see a fat Dougie, a fat Kyle in a suit. It's great.
Dougie Jones.
I want to just watch that just so I can appreciate it, knowing that he's only Dougie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because like, I think it just caught me off guard.
Yeah, because he's Dougie in the Red Room too, but was he as big in the Red Room?
I don't know if he had the fat suit on in the Red Room, but like when he's there with like the tank top on with the prostitute, you're just like, oh my God, you have a fat suit on. This is the greatest thing ever. And then he like disappears and then he turns into a little gold ball. Makes no sense. And now Dale is back in the real world.
Mm-hmm. But there's a catch.
he's fucking like he doesn't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Which makes total sense because he was in this weird realm for 25 years.
Yeah, his mind has just been elsewhere.
So logistically, it makes sense that he will not regain all of his motor functions and
consciousness,
all of that.
Yeah.
For about 16 episodes. More like 14.
Yeah.
But so Dale's in the real world. His new wife is Naomi Watts. Their
girl.
Their kid is the kid from Looper.
Yeah.
And he works at like a insurance company, and they drink empty coffee containers with clearly no coffee in them.
Everyone drinks an empty coffee cup in this show.
And one thing that you brought up though is that Dougie, before Dale became Dougie was a piece of shit.
Yes.
In debt. Was going to get murdered any day because he just owed so many people money.
So many people are always looking for Dougie, and sometimes it's within to progress the plot forward, and other times it's because Dougie was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, like, his fate was coming to him, like you said.
So when Dale enters as Dougie, which I still don't get how nobody noticed that it wasn't Dougie, but Dale Cooper changed so many people's lives and made it for the better. Which, at first, it's episode. I think it's episode 5 and 6 are such a drag, and that's where I think I first started questioning the show. I agree. The first 2 episodes, I was like, that was really good.
Yeah, and then,
second 2 episodes, I'm like, okay, that was good.
Yeah,
and then the next 2 episodes, because we pretty much watched 2 a night.
Yeah.
And then, episodes, I think it was episodes 5 and 6. I was like, okay, what's going on? We just wasted 2 hours, and I feel like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when I started getting desperate about Dale Cooper, because it seemed like every episode after that, Dale was just not Dale.
And it makes you, it frustrates you while watching it, because, like, Now that we've seen how everything happens, we can appreciate what we witnessed. But during the time when you're watching the show, it's just like, well, okay, how long is Coop gonna be Dougie? You know, like what does Dougie signify? Why is Dougie important? Why are we spending so much time on this? And so while you're watching it, it can be pretty frustrating. But I do feel like, while you are being frustrated at that, you miss a lot of like what David is slowly trying to do. Yes. So that's why I say like a second watch would be very necessary when appreciating this as its own thing. And it is very much its own thing, because like, it is 25 years removed. There are so many new characters. A lot of those old characters you don't really touch on much, except like a few. Like they might hold some value here and there. But
that's where I think we should bring up the fandom, because this is where the fandom got divided.
Yeah.
Is you had the fandom of Twin Peak lovers, and then you had the fandom of David Lynch lovers who also loved Twin Peaks.
Yes.
But not for just the Twin Peaks lovers.
Yes, exactly. There's very much a distinct.
There is
2 different crowds.
Almost no Twin Peaks in this.
No.
For it being called Twin Peaks, these are 2 completely different things, tone-wise.
Like, we see enough of Twin Peaks, but,
but
not to the point where it's like, you wouldn't think that this town is the center of this entire story.
Not even that, but just like the humor. It's there, but it's not the humor that was in the show.
It's David Lynch humor.
Yeah, it's not what the show was going for. It lost all of its like soap opera and just like funniness and quirkiness in what the 90s show was going for. And it's now a new form of that.
It's still very much strange and quirky.
Yes, but like it's not. I guess what I'm trying to say is
it's more dramatic.
Yeah, it's not the first 2 seasons.
Thriller, dramatic.
And it's like, if you want to go on IMDb, read the reviews.
There are some upset people.
Especially like the first few episodes, because that's like mostly everybody was tuning in.
Because it's just more the same of why they didn't like Fire Walk With Me.
Yes.
They're not explaining what, everything really is.
David Lynch is ruining Twin Peaks.
He doesn't understand why it's good.
Yes.
But, yeah, that's an argument. But, I disagree.
Huge character to be revealed. Diane finally becomes a physical embodiment.
Laura Dern.
Very, very nice casting.
Fuck you, Gordon.
She is introduced and she plays a huge part in the show.
And like, I'm really glad. Like, we probably knew that she was going to be coming eventually because of how much Dale talks to her. Like, not to her, but like
totally have a history.
Yes, they definitely have a history. And so bringing her on, I think it kind of somewhat softens the blow of, Cooper not being there, because now you get to learn more about her, and not so much her and Cooper's backstory, because she really doesn't talk about it that much till later in the show. But
keep talking.
It is just helpful that she's finally in this universe. So but yeah, so we get introduced to her, and she is a part of Gordon and Albert's crew with Agent Presley, and they use her to... Don't they use her to pretty much, like, that's after... Is it after they catch Evil Cooper is when they first, like, approach her?
Yeah, or at least they know of Evil Cooper.
Okay.
I think. I think he's been captured, and then they go and find her.
Okay.
Because then they bring her to the facility in, like, South Dakota, because he gets in that car crash.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's when Dale is getting brought into the world. That's why, like, Evil Dale's, like, dying.
Okay. So, yeah. So that's where she gets brought into it. And the whole Dougie storyline at this point is just learning more, I guess, about Dougie's daily life.
I just am confused about Dougie in general. Like, what? Why did he look like Dale?
I think he's another doppelganger.
But you can only have one doppelganger, I feel like.
I don't think so, because I think you could keep getting... This is where, like, we wish we, like, just knew more about everything, I guess. But I think you are able to have more than one.
Yeah.
Because does Diane not have more than one?
I thought it was just the two.
Yeah.
I just don't know. That's why I just don't get it.
Yeah. So yeah, the return will be as in depth, because we just watched it recently, so it's like
we finished it.
We barely
almost
sat
a week
on
ago.
it. Yeah.
So
and there's nothing else to see, so it's more just like you just experience this.
Especially the
How
end.
do you feel? Yeah.
So so it keeps going, and one thing I kind of got annoyed with was, you knew every episode was pretty much going to end at the Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm. With their own little musical performance.
And like, I don't mind the music.
Yeah.
It was just like, excuse me, you're watching the show, and then it cuts to the Roadhouse, and you're like, well, great. Here's the end of the episode.
Yep.
Here we go. Here's a pointless conversation that's going to go fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And I don't get what you're doing, David. There's probably at least an episode that could just chop up into the Roadhouse scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an episode right there of just wasted potential of something else.
Yeah.
Somebody please tell me what was the significant... I know we're going to have a conversation with Auction Odysseus, so we'll know by then. But
I think all of those little vignettes of the random conversations is just showing the current state, I guess, of just Twin Peaks as a town. Just like showing all the different personalities.
How fucked up everybody is.
Pretty much. I mean, I think this show more leans on the darkness the entire time.
absolutely.
Because the entire show is dark without Cooper. So if Cooper's not there, because like in the first show or the first 2 seasons, it's only lights when Dale is there. And that's why the darkness is always trying to get rid of Dale and stuff like that. And now that Dale is gone, the darkness overruns everything. And that's why everyone's always depressed and like shit's just going on in everybody's lives. No one's really happy. So I think that's kind of like why.
I guess it's pretty good because then it shows you how everybody's life starts getting better as Dougie because Dale's now.
Yeah, so I think that is the point. It's just like the balancing of Cooper as a presence because he does represent light like Laura. But, you know, the darkness of Bob and his doppelganger and everything is just overshadowing that. So like as Dougie moves around and touches people's lives or whatever, that's the light. And like eventually like Dale, like
Pretty much Dale Cooper is Jesus Christ.
pretty much, yeah, he is the Jesus of the show. So
Yes. And I am here for that.
oh yes. But shortly after all this, we get the what is it, episode 8? Is the birth of the dark?
Oh, got a light.
Got a light.
Got a light.
So that was, and it's pretty much its own thing. Like I think the episode opens up involving the doppelganger. What does he do though to like kick off that episode? Do you remember? Does he murder somebody?
No, dude, I think it's literally its own thing.
No, you know what it is. No. It opens up where the guy is driving him, and they're going to the thing. And he's trying, and he attempts to kill him. Right?
I don't think so.
You don't think that's what that episode starts with? Because that is, and then fuck, dude. We
No, okay, you're right. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then is there the performance from 9 Inch Nails after that, and then it hops into
No, it's
history?
just that scene. At least from like photos.
Uh-huh.
I don't see any. Let me see the cast. See if 9 Inch Nails is in the cast.
Because they were in that episode, I'm pretty sure. That was the musical.
All right, then 9 Inch Nails. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they do the performance next, and then the history. If not, it's flipped. But yeah, like the birth of the dark. That was some crazy shit.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I think
yeah.
It gave me like a little like. I was like, okay, here we go. This was good.
Because you weren't worried about once you realized like that the rest of that episode was going to be that, you appreciated that more instead of just like, all right, let's see what Dougie's up to.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And yeah, that episode definitely stands out from the rest because of just how different and how like it's just shot in black and white. It takes place in 1945 or 6 or whatever it was. Dude, the bug that crawls into the girl's mouth. Oh man,
It's great.
That pretty much highlights the what is it called, the convenience store?
Yeah, I think it's a convenience store.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where we're introduced to that in terms of the history of everything.
Yeah.
So
pretty fucking phenomenal.
yeah,
I
so
loved
that's
it.
pretty much halfway through the series.
Honestly, like definitely top 3 episodes for me.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, it's kind of a dry spout.
Just more Dougie and more just like Gordon and Albert almost getting, to
They're
maybe
slowly
Cooper's
picking up
still here.
They're picking up the clues. They're getting there.
Just like the original show. Like it takes its
that's
time.
when the key, Dale Cooper's key to the lodge,
shows up.
shows up. They're making more connections.
Hello,
Hello,
fuck.
What?
The woman calls Dougie Mr. Jackpots.
Just
Mr.
Jackpots. And I love those two, like, the two, like, mobster gangster guys. Like,
Yeah.
they were pretty funny. And, like, Candy and her two little girls with her.
Are we introduced to those guys when Candy like smacks him in the face with
when she's trying to do the bug
when she's
thing?
trying to is it kill the fly or whatever?
Yeah.
That's a great introduction to those characters. Like I didn't think that they were going to be anybody, and they ended up being pretty important toward the end.
Yeah.
So
and as the show goes on, it's pretty much just I guess Matthew Lillard eventually gets killed by like one of the lodge guys. I think it's kind of assumed.
Yes.
Because David, like, they go to where they find the librarian's body, and then like David like looks up, like Gordon looks up and like sees like a fucking vortex happening in the sky, and like sees the convenience store with the lodgemen. And I'm like, what is happening?
Oh yeah.
And it was good. And then fucking. Matthew Lillard's head just gets ripped apart. Pretty awesome.
Oh my god. What the hell?
And yeah, they're just getting closer and closer, and then it's just kind of a blur. I kind of gotta like look at pictures almost.
I guess it's that's around the same time we're introduced to like Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah. But then I part 13 here is so I think part like 10 or so we're introduced to the really awful guy, Richard or whatever. Was his name Richard?
Something like that.
And we find out it's Ben Horn's grandson, which means dun dun dun. It is Audrey's son.
Audrey's son.
And he is literally fucking evil.
Yeah, he's
to
pretty
the
much
point
the Antichrist.
where he runs over a child.
Yeah.
In Twin Peaks,
and he fucking like beats up his grandmother.
He beats up his grandmother, steals all the money. He leaves the girl in like the little mobile home to like pretty much die. And
yeah, he beats the shit out of her.
Yeah, he's pretty much disgusting. But then you find out when the doppelganger goes to like this hideout with all these goons and bad guys and fucking crushes the guy's fucking skull, which is great.
After an arm wrestling match.
Audrey's son is like, I know who you are. He like tails him. He's like, I know who you are. Like, you know, my mom had a picture of you in her house. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but you find out that like indirectly, I don't think it like flat out said it, but pretty much the evil doppelganger slept with Audrey. And they had Audrey's son, which is why he's so fucking evil, is because pretty much Bob fucked Audrey.
That's his offspring.
Yeah, that's his offspring, which it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy connection to make. So I'm kind of shocked that like they made that easy connection because like, but then he fucking gets obliterated. No, I just don't get it.
It's just eliminating more evil, I guess.
But like I think it almost was like a sacrifice. You know,
I feel like it was a sacrifice.
The doppelganger was like, I don't trust it, so I'm gonna make him go first. Yeah, he got obliterated. I'm out of here.
I think he also wants to be the ultimate evil too. Like, that's kind of like his MO is just being like he's the guy who gets to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So if something or someone is in his path of doing so, you know, he doesn't mind murdering anyone in his path to do so.
And Audrey's was thrown in.
Yes.
And it was very interesting. And then I came up with my own solution, which I think is pretty solid, because she's in 3 episodes. And in all 3 episodes, it takes place at night. They're wearing the same outfits and they're having the same conversation. And so Connor and I were talking about it. I'm like, either because the show takes place over like everything feels like it's all happening at the same time, just and then as progression.
Yeah. The power of editing.
Yeah. But that conversation, I was like, no. It's the same night. They're wearing the same outfits, but it was spread over 3 episodes. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But then the 3rd episode, they actually get to the Roadhouse. And then Audrey's theme starts playing from the original show, and she starts dancing. And I'm like, this is very meta. And then she starts freaking out to Chuck, saying she wants to leave. and then she's in like a white room and she sees herself in a mirror, and then we just never see anything again.
Yep.
And so I'm pretty sure she's in a coma.
Mm-hmm. Or
she's-
either that version of Audrey.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm pretty sure Audrey is not functioning,
Yes.
and she's just or like fucking she might be like in like some sort of like fucking limbo, you know, like maybe she did die or something, and like so that was a very interesting storyline because how her character was let off. I was wondering if she was even going to show up, because she doesn't show up till about almost definitely halfway through. She shows up like I think it's like episode 13 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like she's not in the first 12 hours of the show. It's like, is she gonna show up?
Is she that early? I thought she showed up like literally the last 3 or 4 episodes.
No, I mean the plot really starts kicking in like the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but it's still and so like, and that was like the one thing is like we always kept like wondering like when the next person's gonna show up.
See next.
You know, like Shelly shows up and then Bobby shows up and we're like Harry.
We see James at the first episode. That's exciting.
And then he disappears
And
until
then-
like the
yeah, and
18th,
then
pretty much.
Yeah,
like,
we see him at the very end.
at like 16.
He serves his purpose with introducing another character
Yeah.
with a very gifted ability.
Yeah. And then, you know, Norma and like Mike shows up for an episode, little cameo pretty much. That was fun. I guess we'll talk about like the fun, so like not celebrities, but just like actors that show up.
Yeah. I mean, we've already got Naomi Watts and Laura Dern, but Michael Cera makes an appearance.
Is Andy and Lucy's son.
Yeah.
Which is perfect casting.
Oh, yeah. He's got this weird, like... Is it like a... What accent is that? Chicagoan, Minnesotan...
Dude, it doesn't make any sense.
No. And he just rambles for that entire scene, too.
He showed
Truman's
up for
brother.
a day.
Yeah.
And it's like a
He's
one
just
shot, like
sitting on his little
wide.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But some other cameos...
Your guy from Mulholland Drive.
Yes, the I Had a Dream guy.
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth, yeah. What's her face too?
From-
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yep.
And the casino, it's the guy from Remember the Titans.
Oh, yep. And then
Sarah Paxton, which
then,
she doesn't really do
Polka
much
Dot Man.
nowadays. Yeah. Oh God, that's right. He
Polka
was
Dot
in
Man
this.
from the Suicide Squad is in
Yeah.
this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Lillard
Yep.
was pretty, like, I guess, like, if you grew up, like, Scream or Scooby-Doo, like, you definitely know who he is. So.
Yeah. So like that, we would like to think that all these actors were just fans of the show.
Especially, like, Michael Cera, who shows up for one scene.
Because he is so young, you know, too.
Yeah.
And he's so famous that, like,
He
why
had
else
to
would
just
you put
be
him in
a
there?
fan.
Yeah.
At least that's what I hope.
Yeah.
Honestly, if
Same
I
thing
ever,
with, like, Tim
if
Roth
I
and,
ever
like,
bump
Jennifer
into
Jason
Michael
Leigh.
Cera, I'm going to ask him about that and be
well,
like,
why the fuck were you into the return?
why were you in The Return? Are you a fan? Because if so, that's awesome.
If so, good for you, buddy.
Good, thank you for being in that, because that was fucking hilarious. I lost my shit. Yeah, I think that was about it, honestly.
And then you had all your OG character cameos here and there. You know,
Yeah.
they all had their own scene or, you know, handful of scenes.
Yeah, and like, I just wish, like, my biggest thing is that, like, I would have loved to seen, like, dude, Dale just didn't get to spend any time with any of them.
Nope.
And, like, it was cool that, like, he got to spend time with, like, Diane, but, like, we didn't even really get to see that relationship. Because the joke was that it was just, like, a recording, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even in The Missing Pieces, the scene with her, you still don't see her.
Yeah.
So that's the joke. But, yeah, it was just, like a very... what's her name? Shelley's daughter.
Oh, Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah, Amanda Seyfried.
Oh,
and-
Caleb Andrew Jones.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There's another two.
There's another two.
Let's go.
I love the scene with Shelly and Bobby and Amanda, and then Shelly has to fucking ruin it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
But Bobby is like holding out some hope that, you know, maybe they could get this family back together, sort of thing.
And then, like, I would have liked to see where that have gone. But David's like, no, fuck you. If there's any fan service I'm going to give you, it's going to be Ed and Norma.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, at least there's some closure in that
There's at least
relationship.
closure in that.
Yeah.
So I will take what I can get.
Do you think he did that because he loves Ed and Norma that much? Because, maybe they are older. Like, they're an older, relationship sort of
and,
thing.
I mean, maybe if they're... Who knows if David will ever make anything after this.
Yeah.
But maybe he knew, he's like, I have to give closure to my older actors because they're definitely not going to be here.
Yeah, possibly.
So, that could be a potential.
Yeah. And then I guess there was always room for, if you do have younger relationships from, the first couple seasons, like a Bobby and Shelley, young people just split up, Whereas, Norma and Ed, they've always had this love for each other and, they just weren't able to make it happen. And so I guess that was just that closure sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that was nice. That was one of the few instances of, here you go, fans, enjoy this,
But that was a great episode because I think that's the same episode where Dale becomes Dale again, right?
Is it that episode?
I think so.
Yeah. That'd be really nice that if that was all. I think that's
the same episode where Dale becomes Dale.
Hell yeah.
Which happens. He fucking gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
It takes probably 14 episodes for this man to just look at the outlet.
Didn't he come out of the outlet?
He came out of an outlet, and I guess he's just been avoiding outlets, not looking at them this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally looks at one, and he's like, I'm going to stick my fork in. Oh, it doesn't work. Let me flip it around.
Try the under end.
And
It was calling to him.
Yeah, it was like, come on. We need to wrap this up.
Dale. Please.
And he comes back instantly. He wakes up from his little coma, and he's like, Doctor, I'm perfectly fine. I need to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yes, we do.
Dale.
And they go to the lodge, and shit's going down. The doppelganger just got there. He's about to fucking kill Truman.
Mm-hmm. But then Lucy comes in to save the day.
Dude, Lucy comes in. Also, I guess we didn't mention it. There's the big scene where Bobby and Hawk and all of them and Andy, they go to...
They figure out Briggs's message.
Yeah, which is a different portal from the one in seasons 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl with the eyelashes from episode 1 or 2, whatever episode that was, is there on the ground. And Andy gets sucked into the movie theater with the firemen. And he sees everything.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes there are 2 Coopers out there. He sees, Lucy freaking out.
That is interesting that Lynch chose to do Andy for that role. I figured it would have played a bigger part than what it really did. Because where do we go from there? What all does Andy do from there?
Not
once he
much.
returns back. Yeah.
I think he just knows the importance of the girl. Remember, because he's like, we need to bring her to the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
She's important. That's pretty much it. He just knows that something's gonna happen with this girl.
So I guess that is the significance of that. He protects her.
Yeah.
And
then there's a scene of it in the cell later.
Yeah.
So
okay.
But then the big showdown, Lucy shoots the doppelganger. Doppelganger dies again.
Yeah.
And then Bob, the entity of Bob, comes out, and he's banging around the room.
He's like a giant, massive head marble thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's banging around, and it's cool that they got to use footage as much as they could, of his face, of Frank's face and all that. And the guy you established with James has this glove on, and he has immense fist power.
Yeah, because they fucked up some people at the bar,
and he broke out of the cell, and so he fights Bob, and he defeats.
And also, I guess before that, fate brought him to.
He
Twin
also
Peaks.
got sucked into the vortex.
Yeah, when he had that conversation with
James.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Bob's defeated.
Bob is defeated. The doppelganger is defeated.
Yep. Doppelganger just disappears, And the girl with the eyelashes and all that is revealed to be the actual Diane.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dale's like, it's not over yet. I have something else I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they go into this room, and he disappears, and he's like, don't follow me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he magically transports to 1992 to the scene with James and Laura on his bike. And she screams, which is amazing now that we know why she screams. Because she sees Dale in the distance.
Yeah.
And then we get pretty much like an extension of that scene of the scene when she like gets off the motorcycle into the forest and Cooper's there and he's like, follow me. And he saves her.
Or so you think.
And then you bring back the girl, the singer from the original show. She sings and you're like, that was beautiful.
So I think, that was just that last
dude, like that's
moment.
it. It's just that could have been it, you know. But then David, I enjoyed the interesting ideas of the last episode, but like I think for like anybody who is really holding out hope for like a solid conclusion, just stop at episode 17. Because at the episode of 17, Dale pretty much time travels and saves Laura from dying. Is what happens. And you're just like, oh my gosh, that's great. But in reality,
that episode 18 happens.
In reality, he saves her, but now he lives in a world where like Laura Palmer doesn't exist. But a person who looks like Laura Palmer, played by the same actress, does exist. And he finds her, and she has like belief, I guess, or like a feeling that he kind of is telling the truth.
Yeah.
And goes with him to her house, which is not her house.
So
And-
someone completely different.
And then they stand in the center of the street, and Cooper asks, what year is it? And then we get a shot of the house, and then not Laura, screams, and the show ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that I've sat on that a little bit, I guess when he does save her, and it pretty much takes him to another reality sort of thing. What David is trying to say is just like, no matter how hard you want yourself to like save Laura, I guess speaking on Dale Cooper's behalf, no matter how much he wants to save her, because that's essentially what he's like striving for, is like if he could save her, he would have, because he's always known about Laura, sort of thing. And so, I guess he puts them in another universe that doesn't have any of these people, and it's just like, maybe there's no importance of that without, sacrifice or like balancing light and dark. Like you can't just have an all lights. You got to have both. So I guess that's just like Cooper's lesson. And so maybe he keeps trying to save Laura every single time. And maybe that's like what births another doppelganger or something like that. So that's where it's just like the theories start coming in. And it's just
It's just like, maybe Laura's fate was to die.
Yes.
And there's no way to save her.
Yeah, there's no, you can't change that sort of thing. Like she was that sacrifice.
Because they eventually, like, I guess an indication of how we know that he saves her is that they use footage from the pilot. And you see her corpse, like, fade away. And you see Pete, instead of just, because, he's going fishing, and then he sees the body, but instead he just keeps walking. And
just goes on about his day.
He casts line. And so that's establishing the different universe, the different timeline of Laura. So,
so yeah, that was the return.
That was
a brief synopsis of everything that happens, but Yeah, I guess you've heard more of our thoughts on all these events more so than just like broad themes, because we still don't know what the fuck is going on most of the time in that show. So
I think one day, maybe a year or so from now, I'll return to the return.
yeah.
But it's just gonna be brutal. I think just because like I enjoyed it, I just don't think I'll ever like love it.
Yeah.
But like I'll always love the first 2 seasons to an extent. I'll always love Fire Walk with Me.
So yeah, maybe we're just those Twin Peaks fans where it's just like we love and appreciate the Lynch stuff, but it's like you built such a strong foundation with your characters and setting and everything, so where it's like it's kind of hard to just accept that like more within this world goes on outside of like the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because this show bounces through all sorts of locations and all throughout the country and everything, and it's like only like about maybe half of the time is spent at Twin Peaks. Probably less, honestly.
I would say maybe like 30.
Because like Dougie does not live anywhere near Twin Peaks, so like in a lot of. And then the doppelganger is always moving around, and he's usually not in Twin Peaks either. So, yeah, I guess that's the most frustrating part of the return after first watch.
And as of now, we've done a little research, and David was working on another project for Netflix. Sounds like it got canceled.
Yeah, so as of now.
As of now, it sounds like it got canceled.
Yeah.
So, but there are rumors speculating. Everybody's saying like potentially another part of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Nobody's sure yet. But I also heard that it was really hard for Showtime to produce this show. Like
The Return?
Yeah, David had a fight for it.
Okay.
So it sounded like they were kind of like second guessing a lot of stuff on it. It's always about money.
At the end of the day, you got to make the most
creative
money.
Geniuses can't make what they want to make because people won't give them money to do it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this podcast was just kind of like to talk about our love for Twin Peaks and how it's consumed our lives for the last few months.
For like pretty much 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. At least it's been on our mind for about 6 months.
Yeah.
So, and it's been really on our mind for about 2 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it feels good to talk about it. And now I just kind of want to watch it again. It's almost,
we'll do a revisit.
It's almost like comforting, It's a time capsule of a certain moment in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And it's a cold and wet world.
I mean, it's shot so warm.
But you feel so welcome to it.
Yeah.
And even though it's dark and sad.
That's that cherry pie and coffee, man.
It's Dale.
Dale is the warmth of the entire show. He's the positive energy.
He is there to...
He's the hero.
Keep the darkness out.
So. I need a hero. Dale Cooper.
Any other things? Also, I want to get all the other Funkos pretty much.
Oh, yeah. We need a Log Lady Funko ASAP. And Bob.
I want Bob. Yeah, I want Bob a lot. I don't know why I didn't... I think I just saw this one randomly. Like, I don't even think he was in his box when I bought him. I think it was just him.
Okay.
But I wonder... Yeah, I don't know why I didn't want any of the other ones.
I mean, Dale Cooper's your boy. That's why.
Yes.
You got to get him first.
But yeah, so...
But yeah.
Anything else?
I mean, we talk pretty good, in terms of just like going off, off top.
Yeah, I'm sorry if we were super jumbled. Like, we didn't plan for this at all. Yeah. Connor just said, "Are we doing a podcast?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't really think about it." And then like 2 minutes later,
we could talk about.
I was like 2 minutes later, I was like,
because we were still watching The Return since our last podcast. So
yes,
yeah.
Did we start it by then?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because that was like what, King Richard around there. So that was
I think it was earlier. Honestly, I feel like we either like.
No, I'm saying like that was when we did the last podcast.
I think I was gonna look it up really quick.
Maybe not. No.
That's why I think we were about to start it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Podcast November 18th.
No, surely we had to have started.
Well,
then.
but we could have filmed it a few days earlier.
Yeah.
I'm saying we probably were like maybe 4 episodes.
Okay, well, when did we watch Firewalk with Me the second time? Or The Missing Pieces?
Let me go to Letterboxd.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. This podcast will wrap up in a second.
That's why we have diaries on Letterboxd.
Hold on.
Keep track.
The 7th.
Okay.
So that means we must have started at
So
like the 8th or 9th.
Just started it then. Yeah.
Yeah, because the 7th was a Sunday. So yeah,
So we watched it in like a month then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Twin Peaks. It rules.
It fucking rules.
It's a ride. It's a roller coaster for sure.
It is.
Because you're like, first season, second season, like, oh, fuck yeah. Halfway through second season, oh, shit, where are we going? The Firewalk with Me is like skyrocket again. The return is just all over the place.
Dude, the return's like
it's
mixed
fucking
emotions.
like gonna make you throw up, or you have no idea what's happening.
And then and then it just ends, and then I want more.
Yep.
But I don't even know if we'll ever get it again. So because so many more actors have passed away.
I cannot wait for me rewatching everything though, because I haven't even rewatched the original show. The only thing I rewatched was Firewalk with Me. So,
mwah. That's to you,
Thanks,
David Lynch and Mark Frost.
Hey, shout out to both of you. Thank you for
and
making such an interesting world.
And honestly, to all the fans who kept it alive.
Honestly,
we're newbies.
We might not have ever gotten the return if it weren't for that cult following, you know?
Yeah.
So, fandom. If you love something enough, keep loving it, even though it might frustrate you sometimes.
Damn straight.
But
well, anything else?
I think that's about it. This is a solid Twin Peaks podcast.
It was. I'm kind of terrified to see the runtime. But hopefully you guys made it through.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, guys, this has been Andrew.
This has been Connor.
Peace.
It's been good.